Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for Fantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the next in the series of the Beginner's Guides to NGS. And what we're going to be focusing on today is the Battle Power system. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover exactly what the Battle Power system is. I'm going to cover what it involves and why you need to know about it as a new player to NGS. I'm also going to look at ways that you can increase your Battle Power as well to be able to participate in the quests that require it. So the first thing I want to cover is what exactly is battle power. So again, this video is mainly aimed at people who are brand new to the game, who are just getting into NGS for the first time. What you'll realise quite early into the story in NGS is that certain parts of the story are gated behind what's called battle power. And battle power at its core it's a numerical statistic that is an overall view of how strong your character is, not in terms of just damage, but it covers things like your damage, it covers your gear loadouts, what abilities you have equipped and things like that. It takes all of that in consideration and it assigns you a number. It's very similar to a system that's used in quite a lot of other MMORPGs as well. So while other MMOs might have specific battle power or their equivalent for individual pieces of gear, for NGS, you don't really get that. You have an overall number that is your total battle power, and you can increase that by modifying different parts of your character to increase that. So, first of all, the way you find out your battle power, all you need to do is just open the main menu in NGS, and you can see on the left-hand side, there's a little pop-up window that says Basic Stats, and you can see the first thing in the list is battle power. And my battle power on this character at the minute is 3,616. So that is your battle power statistic. Now, what battle power governs is, I've mentioned it briefly, but there are certain quests in the game that will require you to have a certain battle power to access them. It covers things like story quests, it covers some cocoons, emergency quests, your urgent quests, and it also covers the latest additions towards the end game part of NGS, which is things like the Lucille exploration quest and the recently added Darkfall Solus quest as well. So battle power is something that should always be sort of subconsciously in your mind, and you always want to be trying to increase it as much as you can. So as you can see at the moment on this character, I've got 3,616. Now, if I go into my actual gear, and for example, if I look at my gunblade, so you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, we've got the stats for this gunblade. And if I toggle the display across, you can see it shows all the different abilities I've got. Now, underneath this, you have a statistics window, which again will show you your maximum battle power. If I go to unequip that gunblade, you can see that it actually shows you in real time the difference it will make to your battle power. So I can see that I will lose 693 battle power if I unequip that gunblade. That would be if I was to go to using nothing at all. Alternatively, if I was to switch it for this wand, you can see I would lose 150. Main reason for that is because the wand's not fully affixed and everything. So you can see it's quite easy to keep track of where your battle power is. Now, examples of where that's used. So I have mentioned a few examples, but just to show you, if I go to the quest counter here, and let's say I want to run the Lucille exploration quest, you can see there straight away, as soon as you open the quest details, it says required battle power 3,615. That's ideal for this character because my character has one higher than that, so she has just enough battle power to run Lucille exploration. You can also see it, so even for things like the limited quests that we've got at the moment, so you can see that the limited quest that we've got at the minute on Canite Isle has a required battle power of 3,413. But it does also cover things like story as well. I probably won't be able to see that from here because I've actually done all the story on this character, so you won't be able to see that. But there are several points in the story where it will say, you'll see on the left-hand side that your current task will be achieve a battle power of, and then a number. Now, there are several different ways to increase your battle power. Some are easier than others. So, I just want to give a quick shout out to the PSO2 Arcs Visiphone site. That is a fantastic site to look at if you're looking for any details on NGS or even base game PSO2. And they have a really good rundown on there as well about what exactly affects your battle power. They have all the formulas and everything. So if you want to know the absolute specifics of how much something will affect your battle power, by all means go and check out Arcs Visiphone, and they should be able to show you the exact specifics of what each change that you do to your character will affect your battle power. So, a few things that affect your battle power. So, the first one is leveling up. Now, there is a catch to this. So, every time you level up your main class, you will get an increase in battle power. You don't get increases in battle power once you've reached the level cap. I know that you can keep on leveling your main class and you'll keep getting X cubes, but you won't increase your battle power any further once you've reached the cap. Obviously, at the moment, our cap is level 75. When we get an increase to, say, level 80, as soon as I level to 76, I should get an increase in battle power again. So every time you level up your main class, you will get an increase in your battle power. And that's honestly one of the bigger ones that you get. Just on leveling up, though, your subclass, leveling up your subclass does not affect your battle power. Obviously, so you can see at the moment, I've got level 75 Slayer and level 70 Tekka. If I was to switch my Tekka to level 70, my battle power, if I change that to my main class, my battle power would change. I can actually show that now. So if I got the class counter, what I will do is I will just overwrite that so I've got the current loadout. So if I then change my main class, you can actually see here in real time, if I change to any of these other classes, you can see how it affects my battle power on the right-hand side here. So you can see if I switch to a level 1 hunter, I would lose 1,854 battle power. So you can see that there is quite a lot of battle power that you can get from leveling up. However, if I go to my subclass and change it, you can see again, it just doesn't really make a difference. The strange one is that for some reason it does show up for Braver. I'm not sure why that is, but you can see like pretty much every other one there's no difference for. So your subclass doesn't necessarily affect your battle power. It's mainly your main class that will have that effect. So that's the first way of raising your battle power. Just level up your main class. Second one you want to do is skill points. So in NGS, unlike PSO2, you don't get skill points from just leveling up. You get your skill points by doing cocoons and towers. So once you've got those skill points, you can assign them in the skill tree. So again, you can see here, class skills. Now, the way I can show you this is, so if I change my main class to Hunter, for example. So you can see now my battle power is only 743 because Hunter's only level 1. So just remember that number. So 743. If I now go into the Hunter skill tree and learn, say, let's put 1 point in Hunter physique. Our battle power is now 746, so it's gone up by 3. So learning skills on your skill tree does affect your battle power. So it is a bit of a strange one, this, because there are certain classes where you'll have an excess of skill points. Quite often you'll find that with certain classes, you'll find that you'll learn all the skills you want to learn and you'll have loads of points left over. And at the moment, it is just worth just wasting the points on other skills that you're not going to use. If you've got everything you already want, it is worth just wasting them on other skills that you're never going to use just to get the battle power increase. But again, really only if you're doing it on your main class. So let's just switch back to Slayer. There we are, back up to 3,616 again. So skill points is the next way of doing it. So make sure that you do all of your cocoons and your towers and make sure you get all those skill points. The good news is you don't have to do that with every character. So once you've done it with one character, every other character will have access to those skill points. So the next one is probably one of the ones that you'll focus on more later in the game. So it's your weapon and your armor. So I've already shown previously that changing weapons can affect your battle power. So again, moving to this one would reduce my battle power by 150. There are certain things that affect the battle power that you get for your weapons and armor. So generally, higher rarity weapons and armor will give you increased battle power. So, for example, with this Tenebrous Wand, it's an 8-star weapon. And in this case, the Neos Strain is also 8-star. If I was to switch to a 9-star weapon, my battle power would probably go up. It may not from this weapon, because you can see I've got a lot of fixes and everything on this weapon, and it's quite highly grinded as well. So if I switch to just a raw 9-star, I'd probably lose some battle power. But if I had a 9-star with the same abilities and everything, then it would, in most cases, be a battle power increase. It's the same for your armor as well. Again, you can see if I went to remove this armor, I would lose 112 battle power. So again, it's quite a big part of your battle power. So making sure that you've got the best weapon and armor that you can. I should note that for weapons, your battle power is only based on the weapon you've currently got equipped. So again, as you can see, I've got 3,616 while I've got this gunblade equipped. But if I switch over to a wand, it drops to 3,466. Now, does this mean that you can't enter things with a low requirement? No. Because what I can do, so for example, for the Seal Exploration, you can already see that I've got the requirement for it. The requirement was 3,615, so I've just got enough battle power for that. I could happily go into that quest, and then while I'm in the quest, I could switch to a wand. And because I've already met the requirement for the quest, I can switch to a weapon that then goes under that battle power. But you need to have at least one weapon that meets that battle power requirement, and it's always based on whatever you've got equipped at the time. So again, if I go back to the gunblade, 3,616 again. So your weapon is and your armors are a big part of what your battle power increases come from. Factoring into that as well is a couple of things. So I've already covered the rarity of the weapon and armor. The next thing is the grind level. So the more you grind a weapon, the higher the battle power will go. So at the moment, my gunblade's at level 61, plus 61. If I take that gunblade to plus 62, I'll get a small increase in battle power. They're never huge increases. You're only going to see small gains, but you get these small gains across every piece of your equipment. Your weapon and the 3 armor pieces. You're going to see a progressive increase in your power overall. So grinding your weapon is one way of increasing the battle power. The next way is make sure that your weapon's got a full potential on it. So you can see, again, on this gunblade, I've got the Flowing Spring unit level 6, which is the level 6 potential. So that increases the battle power as well. And then the final one is the augments on your weapons. So make sure that you've got good augments on your weapons. The way it works for augments is, so generally the more augments you've got on a weapon, the better. And the same for armor as well. Now, each individual augment does have its own different battle power that it gives you. I would assume that rarer fixes like Half an Ale probably give you more battle power than something like Stamina, for example. I don't know the specifics of what each individual affix will give you in terms of battle power, but again, that might be on Arx Visiphone or on other websites. Generally, though, just try and aim for the highest affixes that you can. So if I'm looking at this gunblade and I'm looking to upgrade it, I would be looking at... So I can see I've got Alt Secretor level 3. So I would be looking to upgrade that to level 4. And by upgrading that from 3 to 4, I'd see a small increase in battle power. Conversely, if I drop that to level 2, I'd see a decrease in battle power. So generally try and get the best level equips that you can. The best level of fixes that you can. So there are a couple of other things that influence your battle power as well. So
mission accomplished. Thank you for your contribution.
So basically, your defense and your attack on your character influence your battle power overall. So that obviously partially does come from your weapons and armor as well. So again, by using the best weapons and armor that you can use, that will affect those stats and give you bonus battle power. There's also other calculations that you can do. So I know I'm just looking at Arc's Visio 4 at the moment, and I know on there it says that the potential level of your weapon, basically, that will give you a times 10 battle power boost. So if you've got a level 6 potential, you'll get a 60 battle power boost, which is obviously pretty good. So generally, you do want to try and increase the battle power as much as you can, just because it is going to gate you from being able to complete certain parts of the game. Now, at the moment, as of writing this and as of recording this, the highest battle power that you need at the moment that I'm aware of is 3,750, which is for Darkfall Solus. That is actually quite difficult to get to. So for that, you basically want to be using either high 8 or 9 star weapons. You want max affixes, of which your affixes want to be a high level 1, so generally level 4 or higher affixes. You want all your gear to be limit breaked. You want max potentials. You want all of your skill points used. Basically, use everything that you can to get your battle power up, and you should be able to get to that battle power. Obviously, I know I mentioned previously that subclasses don't affect battle power. There is some truth to that in terms of leveling your subclass won't necessarily give you battle power, but obviously with the subclass it does confer some stats to your main class. So because battle power takes into account your attack and defense, if you have a higher level subclass that's got good attack or defense, then that's going to have a slight effect on your main stats. It won't be much because you only get a small percentage of the stats, but it might influence your stat distribution and influence the battle power that you get, which might be why it was showing a small decrease on some of those classes earlier. So that's a general overview of how to get your battle power and what it's used for. As I said, the main thing you want to be getting it up for is to make sure that you can run the urgent quests. Darkfall Solus less so at the moment. Obviously that is probably one of the hardest things in the game to do at the minute, but it's not a necessary thing to do as such. But you definitely want to be making sure that you've got enough battle power to be able to run things like the Lucille exploration. You want to make sure that you're able to run the urgent quests like Darkfall's Aegis and the Zepheto emergency. So you want to make sure that you're meeting those requirements. Now, for the emergency quest, it is quite simple. So when an emergency is announced, it will actually tell you how much battle power you need. So you can see on the right hand side. You might not be able to see at the moment because of my camera, but basically when an emergency is announced, it will scroll across the top of the screen. It will also send you a chat box as well about the emergency, and it'll say that they're preparing to start the emergency quest. And at the end of the message, it'll say for players with, and then a number, battle power and higher. So, for example, you can't see it because of my camera at the moment, but at the moment, there's just been a Caveris emergency, and it says for players with 2,506 battle power and higher. So, if you don't have that battle power, you can't run that urgent quest. So, you always want to be making sure that you're trying to increase your battle power wherever you can. Towards the end game, the only difficulty with it is, I would say the main difficulty later on is limit breaking all of your gear, because you need arms refiners and arms refiner 2s, and sometimes they can be a little bit awkward to find. But generally, I would say just if you've got good affixes on all your gear and you've got max level class and subclass, you should have a relatively good battle power, and you should be able to run the majority of things in the game. It's just that you might need a little bit extra help to be able to get you to the highest BP, such as Darkfall Solus. So I'll leave it there for now. Again, if you're just starting with the game, you don't need to worry about anything like the Lucille exploration or Darkfall Solus. That's the sort of the current end game stuff at the moment. But you need to have an awareness of battle power just so that you're able to progress through the main story of the game, and so it doesn't hold you back from joining in on limited quests and things like that. Because the last thing you want to do is for a limited time quest to start and you not have enough battle power to run it. So any questions at all about battle power, just leave them in the comments below and I will try and answer what I can. I realise it's been a fairly short video, but it's just a topic I wanted to cover just for new players to the game, because I realise it does come up sometimes for people who are just starting out. So for the meantime, I'll leave it there. Any comments, just leave them in the comments below. I'll try and answer what I can. But for the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.